Hello everyone, this is Hiral here from Classcipe Operations. Welcome to Classcipe PD Collective event. Classcipe is a New Zealand-based company aiming to create a global community for educators and learners to share their knowledge and experience with each other. With us, you can create your unit plan and task more easily and customize your template with accurate content recommendations. Our platform functions includes interactive slides, customized templates, online, offline, and hybrid learning functions, managing classroom, co-teach, instant feedback, various modes of submission, and vibrant library content. You can create your own PD content, conduct fee-paid sessions, and become a workshop facilitator. You can use free resources present in our library and contribute to it as well. You do follow us on social media to receive more information and updates. Moving on to the issuance of certificates, we have two types of certificates for Classcipe PD collective events. One, the first certificate of attendance. The certificate of attendance will be issued to those who are attending the live session uninterrupted till the end. Second certificate is of participation. The workshop will end with a post-session activity given by the workshop facilitator. Once you complete the activity and upload your evidence, you will be eligible for the SIG. We will be sending you the platform navigation and submission details via email. The feedback form will be sent to chat box. You need to fill up and submit it in order to get the certificate. We take 14 working days to issue the certificate. Let's welcome our esteemed workshop facilitator, Ms. Asnaha Farheen. Asnaha started her career more than 13 years ago as a PYP educator. She currently works as the head of primary and PYP coordinator, and she is also an IBEN program leader and network chair of the PYPC network of Bangladesh. She has supervised the MYP personal project and also conducted PD sessions on differentiated teaching and learning instructions for the teachers of elite schools. Asnaha believes in lifelong learning and has an inclination towards writing for pleasure. Her latest podcast, IB Matters, was recorded in Minnesota, where she shared her views about the significance of building a culture of collaboration in PYP schools. She also loves to infuse technology with pedagogical approaches as an egg puzzle coach, Neopod certified educator, Fluke ambassador, Seesaw pioneer, Wakelet community leader and ambassador, certified innovation Microsoft educator, and a Microsoft master trainer. Welcome, Ms. Asnaha. The floor is all yours.
Thank you so much, Hero, for such a warm introduction. A very warm welcome to everyone, wherever you are joining us from. And I'm happy to have you all with us on a weekend. And that shows how enthusiastic you all are for learning. So a very warm welcome to Classcipe PD Collective. I'm your workshop facilitator for today. I hope I'm audible and visible. So we are going to talk about ways to differentiate professional development. A little bit about myself. I'm not going to take much time. I'm currently located in Bangladesh, but I'm a proud Indian by nationality, currently working as head of primary and PYPC with an international school. I'm also network chair of PYPC network of Bangladesh, and I love writing. That's a little bit about myself. So what are we learning today? We are going to discuss different ways to develop professional development and differentiate professional development. So we'll be starting with gauging the teacher's readiness, utilizing the teacher's interest, and effectively differentiating the PDs. These are the three key areas which we will be working on. Before starting and embarking our journey with this session, I want you all to let me know, what does professional development currently look like at your school? How often do you have professional development? What does it look like exactly in your school? You can use the Classcipe interactive function or the chat box.
In order to use the Classcipe interactive function, please click on the link shared by Siten and join via that link so that you are able to access the Classcipe interactive function.
Then we can see all the wonderful responses here. That's the best part of Classcipe, that it makes the monologue into a dialogue, and we can see in real time what you are thinking and what you're responding. There's a link shared by Certain. You can access that link and we can see your responses here. So my question was, What does the professional development currently look like at your school?
If you are unable to use the interactive function, you can also post in your answers in the chat box here on Zoom. Please feel free to put down your answers here in the chat.
Okay, I can see primary curriculum coordinator is writing. In my earlier school, we had regular in-house PD sessions. Do we have any responses in the chat box?
Yes, we do have a few responses in the chat box. Do you want me to read them?
Yeah.
So Janatul is saying that attending the workshop updated myself with current teaching and learning. Ram K said that weekly sharing best practices and latest teaching pedagogy. Nala said that there are weekly PDs in our school. Sushila says most of us have signed up for an IB course. In-house, we meet weekly for an hour. This hourly meeting has a focus that is run by the coordinator in-house sessions.
Wonderful responses. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And we have some more here. Jyoti wrote IBO training workshop, sharing sessions by the community, peer observation, and providing feedback. Twice a year, at least in-house. Okay. Then Amal wrote that not following any specific plan. All right. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your responses with us. All right. Let's get started. So a little background that we all should have as PD designer, PD curator, or PD organizer. We all should know adult learning theory, that is popularly known as andragogy, right? So it is based on 6 assumptions that we will be, discussing more in details. Apart from that, it helps us to understand what are the differences between the adult learning and how it differs from the young learners, so that we can accommodate those differences and plan sessions which is more appropriate for the adult learner. So that's very important to know about adult learning theory. The second aspect that we will be discussing today is personalized professional development. This is something which is a kind of revolution when it comes to PD, because as we all know, we keep on saying that one size doesn't fit all. So same applies to adult learners as well, our teachers. So we will be discussing about these two key areas, and that's the background knowledge that we all should have as PD designers and PD curators. So research found that 90% of teachers reported participating in professional development. As we could see in your responses, all of you are attending professional development sessions and you have it in a timely manner. But most of those teachers also reported that it was really totally useless. The real issue is not that teachers are not provided professional development opportunities, but that traditional offerings are ineffective at improving teachers' practice or student learning. So this is a research done by Hansen in 2017, and it is quite alarming. So let's get started with understanding what should not be done. What is an ineffective PD? So sit and get, when you're just sitting and receiving the information, a kind of monologue where a sage is there on the stage and delivering the entire information. One time, which is not consistent, where we are not seeing, the long-term benefits, or which is not relevant to what we do in the actual classroom. Not relevant and immediately applicable, which is not based on the need analysis, which is not based on the need of the community. Same experience is provided for everyone, when we are trying to fit everyone in the same container, sort of, and which is where we are not accommodating the needs of the learning community, as in what are the grade levels. For example, the early years PD sessions should be different from the upper primary, or the specialists should be given different opportunities and experiences that is relevant to their own work style, or the problems that they face when it comes to the original classroom practices. Now let's see. Have you ever experienced an ineffective PD? Why was it ineffective? I want you all to discuss this particular question and let me know your responses, either using the Zoom or using the Classcipe platform. Anyway, it's fine with me. Have you ever experienced an ineffective PD? Why was it ineffective? So these are some of the characteristics of an effective PD. And I want you to ponder over this question and let me know Your responses?
I think Vincent is saying the aims and objectives were not inclined with the education philosophy. Thus, the PD was irrelevant. And Shaila is saying that it was not engaging enough.
I'll be showing you some pictures. Look at those pictures and think which picture could you relate with. And if you are on Classcipe PD Collective, you will get some, responses. You can have some choices in terms of responses. It's a multiple choice question, objective type. But if you are on Zoom, you can just type in your feelings after seeing that picture. If you could relate with that, and why do you relate with that? Share your views in the chat, or you can use the Classcipe PD Collective. So here's the picture number 1. Teachers don't hate PD. They just hate PD that waste their time. Agree. I can see most of you are agreeing. Let's move on to picture number 2. I don't always grade papers during PD, but when I do, it's because it's a better use of my time. All right, so I started with the background knowledge of adult learning theory. So that, as I told you earlier, that we need to know what are the differences when it comes to adult learning and how it might differ from the young learners. So adults have a very strong self-concept. When I say strong self-concept, they are self-directed, self-regulated, and they actually desire more choices. As you have seen in those pictures, which I have just shown, either there were no choices and there were no self-direction, right? So the entire hold is in the hand of the facilitator. And we didn't, give any agency to the participants, those who are learning. Number 2, this is again one more assumptions that Malcolm has made, that they come with an array of experiences, right? And they want to share those experiences with each other, and they act as a resources for each other. So this is the second characteristic which adults may have as a learner. And they find that they are more ready for learning if they see the value in their learning, if they see that it is applicable. As most of you wrote that it was irrelevant or objectives were not matching with the outcome, right? So when they see the value in the learning, they become intrinsically motivated. Problem-oriented learning is there, like where they see what problems they can solve. If they learn whatever they are learning, what are the problems that they can solve, and how they can apply the acquired knowledge in the real life, right? They have a kind of internal motivation, intrinsic motivation, which helps them to learn better. If that is missing, when we are pushing them to learn something, which is usually the case, in those weekly PDs where we tell them what to do. So PD is a kind of something which is done to them, where they are not interested to do it on their own. So such PDs are usually ineffective. They need to know the purpose, why they are learning, what they are learning, and how to apply it in the real life. So these are the 6 assumptions which is made by Malcolm. And this is the basis of all the, training material, that whatever we prepare, the training design that we are, keeping in hand, like those things has to be taken care of while designing any of the PDs. Some of the characteristics of good professional development, as I said earlier, it should include hands-on learning activities or learning engagement. Personalized learning. I told in the beginning of the PD that personalized learning is something which was revolutionary when it comes to the PD opportunities. Reflection for modification, whatever their practices are, what are the changes, how they have adapted and adopted the PD, learning in their actual classroom. Do they need any alteration in their practices? And it should be done at a sustained period of time. There should be consistency, and the PD material should be relevant to their real life. Same applies to the content that has been chosen to be delivered in the PD. These are the 4 key areas which can be adapted as a PD designer. Support. They should be supported for a longer period of time. They should be given enough opportunities to practice whatever they have learned in the PD sessions. There should be a demonstration. The trainer or the coach should demonstrate the practice in a very explicit manner, right? practice makes perfect. As I told earlier, that practice has to be done so that they become pro at whatever, topic they have picked up during the PD, whatever learning they have picked up. It should not be a one go, right? That learn it and then forget it. We should see that how are they applying it? Do we need to alter anything? Do they need more support? And coaching. It is said that usually the PYP coordinator or the instructional coach take the front seat and always, do the work. But we can do other way around. We can develop some mentor-mentee, sort of relationship among the teachers, some senior teachers, some new joinees. Initially, at the beginning of the year, and then we can keep on changing those. So the coaching culture is again very important. Which characteristic of adult learning theory do you currently take into account? We have discussed 6 assumptions which Malcolm has made in terms of adult learning theory, the andragogy. Are there any need to start considering more? When you design your PD sessions, what are the characteristics of adult learning theory that you're already applying? And do you want to consider any of the characteristics that we have discussed? So let me go back to that slide. If you want to see it again, we have discussed this 6 assumptions and which one you're already applying in your PD sessions and which one would you like to, apply in future? Feel free to share using the Zoom chat option or the PD collective option. Okay, in-house PD experiences that you're already using. Which aspect of the adult learning theory that you have already explored and used? Which one would you like to use in your future PDs? All right, I can see any answers. So let's move ahead. We discussed about the characteristics of ineffective PD. Some of the characteristics of effective PDs are teacher's voice. They should be involved in what they're learning, how they're learning, where they are learning, and when they are learning. This sort of involvement should be there, right? Align with school's goal, mission, values, and initiative. We need to align a PD session with all these things which we have just discussed. It should be sustainable. It should be consistent in nature. The PD events should be calendared and should be meticulously planned. It should be collaborative in approach, so not only one person from the learning community or from the school community is taking the load of conducting the PD. Rather it should spread across among the team members, aligned with adult learning principles that we have just discussed. And if it is personalized, there's nothing better than that. So some of the elements of effective PDs that we can consider: professional development opportunities that are personalized, acknowledge the skill of participants, are self-paced, have support from technology specialists, and allow for choice, provide teachers with the opportunity to learn how to use technology in their instruction, own their learning, and grow professionally. So if you can see, personalized learning opportunities are self-paced. Usually when we do PD, it is a 1-hour session or so, and the entire thing is wind up then and there only. We sometimes share the reading materials or the videos, but we are unable to monitor. So there are tools to do that, like PeerDAC, Classcipe, Nearpod, Puzzle. These are the tools through which we can not only make the content which we are providing in PDs, but we can also make it self-paced so that they can go back and see it. So we have conducted a synchronous PD and then we made it asynchronous and self-paced, and teachers are going through those material again and grasping the content at a pace which they are comfortable. As I started the session and I told that gauging teachers' readiness is very important. So targeted to specific needs, differentiated, relevant, coaching and mentoring, collaboration between teachers, reflections and feedback, teacher agency, voice choice, anytime, anywhere, flexible. So when we gauge teachers' readiness, we get to know where they are and we are meeting where they are. We know how often do they need support through, as someone said, peer observations, right? So peer observation tell us that how they're applying the PD learning. So those are the important aspects at which we need to take care. We need to see, are they ready for what we are delivering, or we are just fitting everyone into the same container and we are delivering the same type of content to everyone. For example, when there are new teachers, we can group them If they are already advanced learner, we can provide them the task which is matching their learning needs. They are on the next step of their learning. Rather, the newcomers can be first induced, induction can be done, and then they can further be a part of the group which is already an advanced learning group. And we can make mentor-mentee relationship always that works really well, because they are more open to share among the colleagues that what are the issues that they are facing, what are the practices that can be applied to resolve those issues, and what are the resources that they can explore to learn more about that particular aspect of classroom learning or classroom management. Some of the ways to gauge teachers' readiness is survey, ongoing reflections, class observation, one-to-one discussions with the teachers. That these are some of the ways that we can use in our PD opportunities, sharing the best practices session. We should keep some surveys at the beginning of the PDs, and then post PD surveys. It can be an exit ticket or any way they can share their understanding at the end of the session. And also before the beginning of the session, we all should know what questions do they have, what are the areas where they struggle. Some of the questions that we can think of while designing those surveys. So what are the learning goals? If we know the learning goals of the learners, are there opportunities for learners' voice and choice where learners are teachers or the attendees, those who are attending the PD session? What experiences do the learner bring with them? As I told in one of the areas which Malcolm talked about is experiences that they bring on table. They have a wide array of experiences. So if we know what experiences do they have, we will not end up repeating the same thing again and wasting their time and wasting our time. Is there an immediate need in application of this information? Is there a problem that will be solved? As I told that they are the one who want to see what problem that can be solved if we attend this PD. And if we are able to show them that learning need, they will be intrinsically motivated. Are there opportunities for collaboration between learners? Are we giving them enough opportunities where they're collaborating, coming together on a shared platform, developing that belongingness to solve those problems which they have in their day-to-day life? Are there opportunities for learners to reflect? Reflection is very important, and that should be the part and parcel of each and every PD, not just at the end of the PD, but during the PD to gauge their understanding and readiness and check for understanding, like where they have reached. Collaboration, we need to foster collaboration not only inside the school, but outside the school. There are people, generous people whom we can invite as PD. I have done it in my school. I have attended many PDs of different schools. I have myself conducted several PDs, and I have invited those people. So, it's a kind of give and take. We can invite people from around the globe. And now COVID-19 has taught us that, yes, world is very small, right? We can invite people and they're very generous and they come conduct those PDs. So here we get, a variety, a diverse perspective. Not only every time we are conducting the PD, rather we are bringing in expert from diverse field, which are expert in those particular aspect which you have done a need analysis for. Attend teachers team meeting. As an instructional coach, as a pedagogical leader, you will get to know the right kind of PDs for the teacher if you attend their PLC meeting, right? Create a campus LMS classroom or Facebook group. For example, we have a resource pool in the Google Drive where we just park all our resources and teachers can anytime go and explore those. We also had created a Google Classroom for teachers. Encourage teachers to join other educators. Facebook is a great community to learn. Twitter is a great community to learn. And as a pedagogical leader, we can guide them that you can join so-and-so group and exchange those ideas, discuss, share your issues. Encourage teachers to observe each other's classroom. Spotlight teachers or observe me. These are the two strategies that I have used as a pedagogical leader, where teachers are putting on the bulletin board of their classroom that in so and so hour, you can come and discuss and see how we are planning, or you can see the live classroom, attend the live classroom observation, and later share the feedback of what you have observed. I remember we have used plus, delta, and stairs for those class observations. So teachers didn't only get what went well, what went wrong, or what was good. They also got opportunities to listen from their colleagues that what are the next step, what they can apply. So it was a kind of feed forward. Teacher leadership, as I shared earlier, the teacher's voice, their ownership, their intrinsic motivation should be taken care of. So create teacher leadership. For example, we created action research team. Teacher leaders can pilot devices and program. When she was giving my introduction, there were a lot many tools like Edpuzzle, Nearpod. So we had created some focus group where teachers attended different sessions. They collaboratively collect all those resources, their learning, and they presented those sessions. So it was a best use of time, teacher-led professional development. Teachers can attend different conferences and then bring back the information to share. Some of the examples that I would like to share here, I hope it will be visible. This is an example of the action research team that we have created. This team worked on social and emotional learning, and they shared some very practical, things with the entire community, which was, readily available for us to use, and those authentic resources helped the other colleagues. So this was an example of teacher leadership. They shared, not only curated the resources, they presented the resources, they also took induction, and they were the one who were observing whether this aspect is being taken care by everyone or not. So it was amazing for us to see how teachers can take the lead. Okay, there's another example that I would like to share. This was early years. We were introducing play-based learning after the PYP enhancement. They shared several resources with the entire, team, and they developed a shared understanding of what does play-based learning look like, what is student agency in early years. So this is the entire thing created by the teachers, delivered by the teachers. So they took care of this. Instead of me doing the entire thing, they were divided into focus group. They even shared the classroom practices. This was an amazing learning opportunity for all of us, where teachers took the lead and shared the real life examples of their classroom. What did they learn from the PD, and what are the resources that can be used by all other facilitators. Now let's talk about personalized professional development. What comes in your mind when you think of the term personalized professional development? What is something which comes to your mind when you see this term personalized professional development? What does it look like? What it is? You can share it in few words or one complete sentence. You can use the Classcipe platform, or you can use the Zoom chat window. We can see the responses here. We can also see responses in the chat. Do let me know what comes in your mind when you think of the term personalized professional development. Very well said, Ram K. PDs that cater to the individual needs and concern of the teachers. Specific to age group or subject. Well said, Shella. I agree. That may meet a specific set of personal needs for the PD. Well said, Mr. Saiful. I agree. So you have great ideas about personalized professional development. Have you ever used it? Let's see. To meet requirement of individual forum said, then Raja said professional growth. That I missed it. I should use this one. Yeah. Then PT to the individual needs and concern of the teachers. PD that caters to individual needs and concern. To meet the requirement of individual, teachers can develop their teaching through PD. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing amazing ideas that you have about the personalized PD. Well, just as educators are moving away from the sage on the stage model, now we call ourselves guide on the side. So should professional development move away from the sit and get or spray and pray model? Do you agree with this? We all are trying to apply differentiation in our practices. We are trying to meet the need of the learners. So do you think that same should be applied to the professional development? Do you think that there is a need of professional development that are personalized in nature? Do you agree? Agree. Thank you. I can see all of you are agreeing on this aspect. Most of you are agreeing on this aspect. So to sum it up, learning opportunity designed and selected by educators for their own development in personally determined goals. So here we are not doing anything. We are taking the back seat. We're asking them to analyze their needs and personalize a kind of plan for themselves so that they can learn better about any of the aspect that they want to learn as per their needs. When deciding, like we can't just give them a template and leave them. We need to give them some key questions. What type of professional development you would like to participate? Ask yourself these questions. It is very important, and it acts as a self-regulation, so they are not ending up choosing anything. So what are some educational areas in which I want to grow? I should ask this question before writing my goals or before finalizing key areas of my PD. Will these professional development sessions over the summer help improve my practice? I'm also reflecting upon my experiences which I had about this topic, what help had been provided during those sessions. How will this professional development improve my instruction and benefit all my students? So here we are bringing a student-centric approach. We are thinking about the learning in the classroom, which is the ultimate goal of any of the PD, that we want to bring a change, a positive change in the classroom. Will the strategies I learn be easily implemented on my own? Will I be able to apply it, whatever I'm learning? How will I access support if I'm struggling? So they're not only identifying the goals, they're also identifying the resources, be it articles, videos, or a human resource. Who will be that person who will help me if I struggle? What will my classroom look like when I have implemented this strategy? So they are actually trying to imagine the changes in their classroom. So this is a long-term backward planning sort of, where they're actually imagining that this particular PD goal will help me to bring changes in these aspects of my classroom. What will student be engaged in the learning improve? This is the key question that we all should ask. How will my new skills and knowledge build my capacity when I return to my classroom? How well equipped will I be? What tools will be there in my arsenal? How can I bring those changes? So these are some of the questions that we need to give to those teachers who are planning their personalized PDs, because they are the one who are planning it, but they should be supported by these prompts or these questions so that they plan the right learning for themselves. We will discuss more about the personalized PD. I'm going to give you a framework for the personalized PDs that you can take back. One thing that really worked well for us is book clubs. Book clubs were wonderful. So we started a book club that was online, where teachers came together, read a book, discuss, obviously a book related to teaching and learning, a book related to pedagogy or instructions, and they meet periodically, either virtually, and they were also part of different Facebook groups. So they were the part of book clubs, which is very important. If you want to become a good teacher, you have to be a good reader. And reading, frankly speaking, reading take a back seat when especially we discuss about the content. We make ourselves more well equipped with the contents that has to be delivered in the classroom, but we hardly get time to know about the practices on instructional approaches. What are the changes? How can we make our teaching and learning better? So book clubs work really well. If you don't have those, you can either be a part of the school-based book club or a global book club. There are a variety of opportunities available. Second thing that worked really well for us, because we were working using different, infusing technology with instructions during the time of COVID. And that is something which we didn't leave. We carried forwarded, and we are still using technology as a tool. So Appy hours or Appy Playground can be done on a weekly basis, on a fortnightly basis, where teachers are learning about the tool. And they are also providing some snacks, make it a fun time. They should not get bored that, okay, this is again a sit and get PD, and we are just, taking the instructions. We are being told to do something. Let them explore. You can do it by several ways. I'll share later. So conferences, there are several free conferences. For example, this one, we are having the Classcipe PD Collective as instructional leaders or pedagogical leader, we need to share these opportunities with the teachers. We need not to tell them that you have to attend all the session. Rather, ask them to divide themselves into chunk, attend the workshop, explore the resources provided in the workshop, come back and share with their colleagues. That's again a wonderful thing to do. Send teacher leaders to large scale conferences. Some are paid conferences, but those are worthy to attend. And if they're attending, they're actually upskilling themselves. So we need to group teachers so that everyone get an opportunity to attend those conferences. And if the school is not supporting, what we can try is when they go in group, they get good discount, amazing good discount. This is something which we can, help, which we can use to motivate them if they are spending money from their pocket, which is not a very good case. But if this is the case, we can use this approach as well. One tool that has really helped me is PD Hybridox. We can hyperlink several resources, and this looks, so compact, concise. We can pick up a topic, a learning engagement, or an area which we want to discuss in terms of PD, and we can use PD Hybridox. If you want to learn more about PD Hybridox, which I will be covering in the next session if I take any on the Classcipe PD collective, future Classcipe PD collectives, I'll be using this. There's a lot more to learn about Hybridox. These are some articles that you can read and make yourself, aware about this wonderful tool. Another tool that I just said that we are organizing Appy Hours or Appy Playground. You can just make a Choiceboard bingo. As we have learned earlier, that teachers need choices. They desire choices. They want several opportunities to be provided to them, and they want to pick the best one for themselves, which they think that are the relevant ones. So this is one example which I have given. You can use the Choiceboard, and it's a great PD. Learning engagements, PD bingos, similar to Choiceboard. Some are ready-made, already available. So if you want them to explore some tools and you don't want everyone to explore a similar tool, you can give this options. These are all ready-made Choiceboards. Podcasts are great tools if they're going on a long break and you want them to hear something which is not mandatory, but you just want to share curated resources in a way which looks, open choices are provided. So you can also share such Choiceboards with them. Have you tried any of these ideas? Which one could you start using with your teachers? All those ideas that has been shared, have you tried any of those ideas using Hybridox, or using the choice bingos, or using the Appy Hours, whatever we have discussed so far? Have you tried any of the ideas? If not, which one could you start using with your teachers? Do let me know. Using the chat box or using the Classcipe feature, anyway is fine. Do we have any responses? Yes, I use Teams and word walls, word clouds. Yes, Choiceboard are wonderful to start with because they get many choices, and we can see variety of engagement happening, and we can also design the Choiceboard using the Bloom's taxonomy. So for the newcomers, we can keep some options which are very basic, and for the teachers, those who are with us for a longer duration, we can provide them opportunities which can challenge them further. So Choiceboard is indeed a great tool. Concept mapping tools, yes. Thank you for sharing. So how we can effectively differentiate the PDs, let's discuss that. One thing that is very important, when we meet them in a group and when we observe them in a group, we hardly see what is happening in their mind, how they are taking it up. So it's good if you have some individual check-ins and coaching. See how they're doing, what are their needs, and help them, right? So you have designed a differentiated PD, and then you are assigning these free calls with teachers when you are inviting them to meet you as instructional leader, and understanding their need and giving them that support which is appropriate for them. Build the relationship, which is very important. No matter how effective is your PD, but if you don't have a relationship where they are feeling safe to share their authentic learning or the mistakes that they are doing in the classroom, it doesn't make that difference. Have informal and formal check-in. Sometimes you tell them that we can have an formal check-in where you are giving them a designated time. Sometimes just meet them informally, have a chit chat, discuss what's happening, discuss with the positive things, and then talk about something that they can further improve. Provided by a tech coach, instructional coach, administrator, or teacher leader. As we discussed earlier, these are the four people, or these are the four ways by which we can distribute and bring diversity of presenters in the learning community. They can be that those checks-in can be conducted in person, and if you don't have that time, you can create a virtual space. I created a wakelet where I shared resources with a teacher who was interested to learn something more about SAMR models. She was trying to infuse the technology and wanted to do it in the right way. So there are several ways through which you can, leverage individual check-in and coaching in your school setting. Resource hub to share material and more. If we create a well-organized resource hub, say a Google Classroom, or you can use Edpuzzle, you can use Padlet, any of the tool that we can use to organize the learning material that they want to explore. That makes a lot of difference, because teachers usually go back and see what is there that can support them in their classroom learning, right? So create a space where not your, what should I say, the content is being parked. Rather, you as a school, whatever PDs that you conduct, you can create a Padlet or a Wakelet or a Google Classroom where you're organizing the content in such a way where anyone can go back and see it. And it is very, very handy for the new teachers as well. You can just add them to those classroom or that Padlet, and you can say that we already have some resources with us, which you can use as self-paced learning, and you will feel better prepared. Right, so this is one way to support, that is asynchronous in nature, but it works really well. Utilize existing resources. We need not to reinvent the wheel every time, right? There are so many free, inexpensive resources, courses, podcasts, websites that are there. You can make it available to the teachers in a way. You can tag those resources in terms of different aspects of the classroom. And then if you find that no, already existing resources are not meeting my need, you can create your own resources, tutorials. Some of the great tools that I use for creating my own resources is Edpuzzle, Nearpod, PeerDAC, and Classcipe is again a great tool to create your own resources, tutorials, and as per the specific needs of the teachers. Reach teachers in a variety of ways. This is one funny but very effective way. We call it spotty PD. Provide a variety of articles, videos, quick tips, emails, print out in box, faculty meeting. You can use it in any way, or you can just put a QR code on your door where your office is, and teachers can just scan, and you can just pick up a topic which you think that really needs support. And this is a quick way to address that particular concern which you are observing and that is widespread in your community. So these are some of the resources which can help you to reach teachers in variety of ways. The wonderful one is Ditch the Text Box, 40 PD. There is some sample body collection that if you will write it down in Google, you will get various, 40 PD collections. Those are amazing and it's a kind of quick fix where you are, helping them to understand what are the tools available, and it is not taking time. You don't have to go gather in a conference hall and conducting the meeting. Rather, they are just seeing what are the resources available, from where they can learn and how to apply it. So it's again a wonderful way to, we all need motivation, right? Sometimes we need extrinsic motivation as well. So we need not to, just wait for the PDs to be conducted and then wind it up, doing the differentiation. We also need to see what are the best practices and what is something that can be celebrated and shared. So this shout outs, or I should say the badging programs that we have for teachers. I personally used a buddy program where I found that 2 teachers who are working collaboratively, sharing the kind of responsibility, and that really worked. I asked them to click the pictures together and then I put it on the display board. That worked for me, and I could see an improvement in the collaboration other classes as well. You can have anything. We have superstar teachers, we have the techno smart teachers, so we keep on celebrating their successes. It can only be a board out in your office, or it can be a display board. Students can be involved, so highlight successes by whatever ways. Pause, reflect, and celebrate your successes. That is very, very important. Now, as I told you earlier, that we can have a plan to create your own professional development. This is a plan for you that you can utilize. So a professional development plan, a personalized professional development plan, PDP, is a document that you can create as a roadmap. You can find out the key areas. The plan should list goal and action, plan, resources, and a way to measure success. It is very important that your plan is a SMART plan. Goals: consider your own reflection and peer feedback as you are going through the process of learning and teaching. Have your reflections ready that these are the areas where I want to improve. Also consider peer feedback in a constructive manner and create and develop goals. These goals should be specific, measurable achievements, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So basically the SMART goals, right? An action plan describes how you plan to achieve your goal. If we are not planning, we are actually planning to fail, right? There is a nice saying. So resources are the tools that you will use to enable your action plan. This can include a specific workshop, books, and online courses, or it can include the name of the resources which are already available in your school whom you can interact with, or which resources like the articles, the PD resources that are there in the classroom, in the library. Measurement. Finally, since your goals are SMART, you should think about specific ways that you can measure whether you have achieved your goal is or not. So you have just defined a goal, and designed a goal, but you should also find ways that how will you measure it? How will you say that I'm actually successful and I have achieved my goal? So creating a PDP, an easy way to create your PDP is using a table. The table should list each of your development goal with the action plan, resources, measurement for each. Copy the following table to create your own PDP. So here's a table for you. Here you will write down your goal. Goals can be very broad, which are, long-term goals. I suggest make it specific and then think of ways, how will you measure it? Will you invite someone who will observe your class before implementation of your action plan, and then you will invite the person later on, or will you see it in your student performance? How will you say that your goal is actionable? Have you created an action plan? Is it relevant to the challenges that you're facing? Is it time bound? When will you revisit your action plan? So it can be a series of PDPs that you're creating for yourself, and that act as an intrinsic motivation, because here no one is pushing you. You yourself is designing a personalized professional development plan. But instructional coaches can definitely help, because these are the people who will help you to make it measurable, and these are the people who will help you with the resources, because they know it all. If you share that these are the goals that I want to achieve, they should help you out. So create your PDP with at least 3 goals. This is a task that I want to give you all, as Heroes shared in the beginning, that there are 2 ways to get the certificate. Number 1, if you're attending it live. Number 2, if you're submitting the task. So this will be shared with you by the Classcipe team. You can fill this up and share it with me, and we would love to see how have you taken up the learning of this session in your real life. So I'm open to question and answers, and feel free to ask me if you have any doubts. This is something which is a work in progress. This is something which I always felt about, that teachers do need differentiation when it comes to professional development. And I'm trying that I can apply all these things in a more effective manner. So this is all work in progress. I think this year I will be in better shape of implementing differentiated PD in my community. So these are some of the best practices that we have used, and we achieved great success after that. So I'm open to questions. That's all from my end. Thank you so much, everyone.